Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of the Europa Universalis IV 5th Community Clash session of the third campaign of the Community Clash. I think it's the third campaign. Anyway, this one, where we are joined by a bunch of players. Let me just go and set up the player map mode. I need to remember how all this works, because we have been away for 2 weeks. So, I should mention that we are still having a couple of problems. We are half an hour late starting. Friesland is not in yet, Tunis is not in yet, and I think 2 players are having to hot join because they've got the number bug, which basically means that their player didn't load in properly and they don't actually show up as a player. The AI takes over. So hopefully in about 3 or 4 minutes we will be good to go. But yeah, it's been 33 minutes so far and we still haven't started. So in the meantime, let's go and talk about who is here. We have got, and I'll start at the top of this list, we have got Charles over in Inca. Inca, of course, having done a very interesting thing last session because they became a Grand Pirate Confederacy. So we've actually got a Pirate Republic South American nation, which is going to be very interesting because they managed to reform off of the British, who are, of course, pirates as well. We've got Commander Faceless over in France, having played a relatively quiet game so far. They have consolidated their holdings in the French area. They seem to have a pretty good agreement with the...
Postman.
Hello.
We had 3 ready to go strikers, just relaunching now, so we should be ready to hot join them all in just a moment.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
And actually, that reminds me, I need to set up my Discord so I can see who's actually in chat with me. Be useful information to have. And sorry about the shaky screen. Nothing I can do about that when I alt-tab. Okay, so, France. France is currently allied with Spain and somebody. I was trying to see if they were allied with Britain or not still. I cannot remember. We will have to see that in a moment. So we're getting Phaonix, we're getting Sir Striker, we're getting Blue Kiwi. And then I think there is one more player, which will be Tunis. No, yeah, Alone Without E has not been able to load in yet. So all of the problems today have been because of the launcher. I haven't had that many problems with it, except in Heart of Iron where I had big problems. But E4 has worked fine for me, but wow, it's caused us problems today. Billy, Billy, Billy! I love how Shen's thing has become a thing here. It's funny. And if you don't know what on earth we're talking about, go and watch the League of 8 Provinces Kaiserreich game over on YouTube right now, which you can find at youtube.com/MordredViking. Yay for self-plugging. Thank you, Sindrin. I knew someone would link it. Come on. Can we see a percentage? Yes, we can. So we should be good to go any minute now. So at the moment we have got Helson in a war against Brandenburg. Need to remember exactly what that war was about. This was not one that involved Poland. Poland lost control of Lithuania, which means we will not have a Poland-Lithuania, at least in the short term. I don't know if they've made plans to try and regain it, or if Helson will even allow it. Hoi 4 launcher has been hell for so many folks. Yeah, I don't know what's been up with the launchers. They've been pretty bad. Can also watch the VODs here on Twitch for another couple of weeks. True, but I'm always a little bit hesitant about suggesting that, because by the time YouTube content comes out, several months have passed on Twitch. Like, I very often get YouTube comments saying, why can't I find this VOD? It's like, I recorded that 3 months ago. I mean, if I'm very, very honest, YouTube these days is basically just a platform to promote Twitch. It's an archive, nothing more. So if you want to get the absolute best of this channel, come watch us on Twitch. It's a much better place. Just not tested, I suspect, by Paradox. Maybe. I mean, Paradox have gotten a lot better at testing recently. Ah, Holy Victor is also in this war. Okay, so it's quite important that we had the Papal States in this fight. So it's a good thing that no unpausing occurred. So Phaonix in Friesland, Victor in Papal States, Blue Kiwi in... I don't remember who Blue Kiwi was playing as... Ajam, of course. One flag I wouldn't recognise. Alright, so what is this war about? We've got Brandenburg and the Papal States versus Russia. Muscovy, Finland and Sukhov. Hello.
We're all in.
Okay.
Do you want to start right away?
Give me 1 second. I want to run and yell at people, but give 2 minutes.
Okay, come hit me up when you're ready.
Cool. AI settings. Make sure you set your AI settings.
What are AI settings?
Want to be
AI settings. Make sure you set your AI settings. AI settings. Make sure you set your AI settings.
It was that first session.
Okay. AI settings. Make sure you set your AI.
Portugal?
AI settings. Make sure you set your AI.
We've
No, I
done
don't
it.
want
AI settings. Make sure you set your AI.
I already did.
Good. AI settings. Set up your AI.
It's been.
Good. AI settings. Set up your AI.
Yep.
Good.
Did so.
And the potential.
Okay,
It
give it
sucks.
2 minutes and then I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Alright. Sorry about that, everyone. It needed to be said.
Just
And
running
that's-
away.
Duh.
I just heard Torsion just let me know Tunis should be hot running soon.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah, so one of the reasons we were so late in starting is because a bunch of players had not set up their AI, so we were like, well, we can't really start with a hot join because AI will just break things, which is why I was yelling. And the reason I was yelling so often is because all the players are split up into a bunch of different voice channels over on our Discord, which is fully organised for this type of thing, and basically in all of their different player alliances, and I have to go and yell at them. Does anyone else see the screen shake sometimes? Yeah, that's when I alt-tab. And sorry, there's nothing I can do to stop that. It is a bug which seems to have been introduced in the latest update. Or maybe, no, it's Streamlabs. It's Streamlabs. So I try to keep the alt-tabs as quick as possible, but I have to be switching between different windows. It's just the nature of streaming. Right, so where were we? France. Who is France allied with right now? I need to remember how you pray this. There we go. France is currently allied with Friesland and Spain. They are not allied with England. England allied currently with the Inca and Oirat. So definitely a bit of a split going on between the former allies. France and Spain, of course, having helped England form the Pirate Republic. Then we have Spain, currently allied with France and Portugal. So definitely keeping a bit of a power block down here in Western Europe. Then we've got Friesland, who are allied with France, Brandenburg and Ulm. In fact, before we do continue talking about these other countries, we should probably introduce a few new players. We have got, going through the list, a new Hamburg. We've got Gabs joining in as the OPM over here in Hamburg. They've already requested access to the HRE, so Austria will be protecting them, although there has definitely been some friction, shall we say, between them and Sweden. As soon as Hamburg announced that they were joining, Sweden's like, no, I want the centre of trade there. So I'm kind of curious if this is going to brew a conflict between these two states and whether the HRE will be protecting them. Is Sweden actually allied to Austria? They are, so they would be able to bypass the lawful territory. And I think they can also declare war without Austria being called in because they are allied. So Hamburg might well be in a little bit of a trouble here. Hamburg, oh no, they are allied to Sweden. So maybe they and Sweden have actually come up with an agreement of some kind. It'll be interesting to watch exactly what goes on there. They're in a trade league with Lübeck, and Lübeck is still alive, not a player. Allied to Norway, Bremen and Hamburg. Okay. Who else do we have? We have got Maguandao over in the Philippines. Right here. This is the former John Pur player. John Pur basically said, yeah, this is unwinnable. They were basically coalitioned down by Delhi, Bahmanis, and the entire Muslim world, who were all sending the Bahmanis condottieri, and it was a bit of a stomp. John Pur was allied to Oirat, but the two of them just weren't able to compete. particularly because Jomper is just isolated. So he asked for permission to leave, and I granted it. However, players that do leave their country like this will suffer a 10-point penalty in the total scoring. So it is a big penalty if you do decide to leave your country and switch to another state. Obviously, if you're just defeated, then you have to leave anyway. But there we go. Who else do we have? Portugal, Japan, Malacca. No, Malacca is always here. We do have another one down there. Ayutthaya it would be. I'm just going through the list first, though. So, yeah, Ayutthaya is new as well. Ayutthaya controlled by Brothers Ale. Brothers Ale has taken over Ayutthaya. Now, the thing which I hadn't quite realised is Ayutthaya here looks like a decent size. It's actually that big. They have a lot of vassals. Although I don't know if those are vassals or tributaries. Oh, they're tributaries. Okay, they're not as big as I thought. I'd forgotten that Ayutthaya is one of the nations that can actually get tribs. So Ayutthaya has a lot of tributaries in this area. They are definitely going to be a bit of a power. So we've got Malacca, we've got Ayutthaya, we've got Magoin Danao, and also more recently Portugal in Indonesia. So the player war between Muscovy, Brandenburg, and the Papal States are over. I somewhat suspect that that was probably a white peace. Meanwhile, Muscovy, now being at peace, has actually formed Russia. So we have a new player tag here, having just formed Russia. Finland was a player vassal, but we have not seen Gustav today, so Gustav is not here. I'm not sure if he's still continuing. A little bit of a question mark over his name. So Finland might well be absorbed, shall we say, into the greater Russian state eventually. Let's continue with the introductions, and then we'll continue talking about alliances. So we've got that guy over in Oirat, probably one of the larger states in the game at the moment, although they are not actually a great power. Really? Huh. I'm actually surprised by that. Then we've got Kaiser Wilhelm over in Ulm, which is always very difficult to spot the difference between Ulm and Austria. The Ulm, which has fragmented 3 or 4 times so far, but has always coalesced bigger and stronger than they were before. Then we've got Gabs over in Hamburg, as we mentioned earlier. Will be interesting to see exactly where he goes from here. We've got Helsen over in Russia. Holy Victor leading the Papal States. Papal States proving to be quite a strong player in this one. The whole of Italy being divided between Milan, Papal States, and Spain, who did not allow Naples. Oh no, Naples do still exist, but they are a personal union under Spain. We have legit player down in the Congo. I was a little bit concerned about the Congo at first because they just hadn't grown very much, but they seem to have done a better job of expanding themselves more recently and have really started to gobble up a lot of territory. Plus, I think that the Congo have got... Oops, come on, there we go. Expansion ideas, so they have started to expand into some of the uncolonized territories over here. So, slow start, but definitely starting to speed up. We've got Magandao over here with one of the new players. Let's take a look at their ideas. We should probably take a look at Hamburg's ideas as well. So Mindao have got economic ideas and offensive ideas. They start out with infantry combat ability and naval tradition DK. Okay, that's a good combo. Tolerance of heretics +2, national tax +10, goods produced +10, naval maintenance -20. Wow. Fort defense +20, morale +10, embargo efficiency +10, privateer efficiency +25. The Pirates of Mindanao. I really hope that we see these guys becoming a pirate. Oh, they are! Interesting. Do they start as a pirate? I don't remember these guys being pirates. Okay, that's awesome. So we have 3 pirate republics now. We've got Great Britain, we've got the Inca, and now Mindao. Sweet. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. Cool. Also, I wanted to take a quick look at Hamburg's starting position, as they are also one of the new states here. Let's take a quick look. They have got economic and defensive ideas, which is a good combination for them. National tax modifier +10, light ship ability +10, global trade power +15%, yearly republican tradition. This is one of their best bonuses, +0.3, fort defense 25. Usually you only get 20% for that. Unrest -1, ideas -10, production efficiency +10, interest -0.5, ship cost -10, and then their capstone, I'm not sure. We'll take a look in a minute. Who turned Great Britain into a pirate republic? Val did. Val sold half of the country to France and Spain in a very, very risky move, and then when they were small enough, they formed Pirate Republic. So many pirates, they're going to cause problems for the Indian powers. Yes, I suspect there'll be a bigger issue for Indonesia, but if they get a base out in one of the little islands, then they could absolutely go ham on India, which could be a good power block, actually, to Bahmanis. If the anti-Bahmanis players... And in fact, that's the player that was killed by Bahmanis, so he's definitely going to be gunning for him. That's going to be cool. But yeah, Hamburg have probably one of my favourite trade-related idea sets. Hamburg is really, really strong. And if you want to have a solid, tall, small trading nation, Hamburg's a great choice. So who are we waiting for right now? This is Mindboy, isn't it? So just need to Alt-Tab again. It didn't go shaky this time. I think if I press Windows key instead of Alt-Tab, then it doesn't. Yes, we do have a Mindboy. So that means that all players are currently present and correct. No protected nations. The only one who did not show was Gustav. Sweet. Full turnout. Apparently people liked the 2 weeks that we had off. It allowed them to recharge, re-prepare. And yeah, we still don't have a Tunis. That's true. Tunis is here. He's in chat. He's just not able to get the game running. Okay, so I wanted to take a quick look at Hamburg and see what the capstone was. Naval force limits plus 25%. Yeah, they're just general idea groupings, just really good. Thought about doing Pirate Republic in Ireland. I kind of did. That's what the whole idea behind the Pale Pirates were, before Pirate Republics were a thing. And yeah, Ireland is a really good place to base Pirate Republic. I believe that Ireland was also a Pirate Republic in the EU4 LAN game, the official one, in their big fancy castle. Though I haven't actually watched that series, but that's what I heard. I think they and the Aztecs became Pirate Republics, if rumours are true. Where did we get to? Legit player, Mania, Maurici. We have Maurici over in Portugal. The player who was formerly playing as the Netherlands in the previous campaign has been Portugal throughout this one. Portugal's done a pretty good job of expanding their colonies. Definitely one of the bigger colonial powers. They've also started to grab some territory in South Africa, in West Africa, and then of course most recently in Indonesia. Oh, we paused. I don't know. Then next up we have got Master Giles in Japan. Japan, who started really strong out the gates, taking on basically the entirety of Japan for themselves. Since then their expansion has slowed somewhat. There are still a couple of independent daimyos throughout Japan, though the shogunate in general I think has now been overthrown. Currently going after Korea, which is probably going to cause some tensions between Oirat and them, though Oirat probably doesn't have a navy, so may just be like, whatever. But then again, if they took down Korea and sat on it long enough and the war goal was Korea, maybe they'd be able to win and take it. We've got Mean Wolf down in Malacca. Malacca being relatively small, relatively quiet so far, but now that we have more and more players entering their backyard, especially now that there's an Ayutthaya player, things could certainly get more interesting. Ayutthaya is allied currently with Portugal, Bahmanis and Ava, notably not Malacca. Although Malacca are a powerful state, they do have some pretty nice bonuses, they will have a big fleet, and they are spread out. So they're going to be pretty difficult to conquer, particularly if they can maintain a naval superiority. Right now they have got 38 ships to Ayutthaya's 26, 5 of which being heavies versus 7. So yeah, right now Malacca definitely the stronger naval power, but losing the mainland would be a pretty big blow. Malacca having ship costs, trade steering, naval tradition from battles, merchants, heretics, production, idea cost, naval maintenance, sailor maintenance, prestige, global settler increase. No real powerful naval ideas. What's the music being so loud today? Not sure. Oh, I think I did that at the end of the Elysia playthrough, didn't I?